Most people over 60 have been told at some point that they should be used to loss by now. That at this age, having lived through so much, grief should come easier. Come in, pull up a chair. I want to talk about why that is one of the most quietly damaging things we tell each other. And why the grief you are carrying right now, whatever shape it takes, deserves more than being told to move on. Here is something that research has confirmed, but most of us already know in our bones. After 60, loss does not get smaller. It gets wider. The losses accumulate. A spouse, a friend who knew you before you became who you are now. The version of yourself that only existed when certain people were still in the room. And sometimes, the loss that no one talks about. Out of every 10 people who have reached this age, one of them has buried a child. 1 in 10. And most of them have never said it out loud, not because it is not real, but because somewhere along the way, they decided that their grief was too heavy to ask anyone else to hold. I want to sit with that for a moment. A parent loses a child, and their first instinct, even in the middle of the most devastating thing a person can experience, is to protect everyone else from their pain. That is not weakness. That is a lifetime of putting others first, still running, even when there is nothing left to run on. But here is what I've been thinking about lately. We talk about grief as though it is one thing, as though it comes in one shape, follows one path, ends at one destination. It does not. After 60, grief is rarely about just one loss. It is almost always layered. One loss sitting quietly on top of another, going back years, sometimes decades. You lose a spouse, but you also lose the person who remembered your stories the way you told them. The one who knew what you meant, even when you did not have the words. You do not just lose a person, you lose an entire version of your life. And that is a different kind of grief than the one most people know how to talk about. There is a kind of grief that has no name, no funeral, no casserole left on the doorstep, no one calling to ask how you are doing. Just you, carrying something heavy with nowhere to put it down. The grief of losing a best friend, not a spouse, not a family member, just the person who had known you longest and loved you anyway. The grief of a pet who was your only daily companion, who greeted you at the door every single day and then one day did not. The grief of losing your health, your independence, the body that used to do things without asking permission. The grief of watching someone you love disappear slowly, still here, but no longer quite the person they were, and not knowing whether what you feel is grief or guilt or something in between. These losses are real, they are profound, and our culture, which is not very good at grief to begin with, has almost no language for them at all. So we carry them quietly. We call it fine. We say we are managing. We fill the days so we do not have to feel the weight of what we are carrying. I want to offer you something. Not a cure, not a process, not 5 steps to healing. Because grief does not work in steps, and anyone who tells you otherwise has not sat with it long enough. Just this. You have permission to grieve what you have lost. All of it. Not just the loss that came with a funeral, not just the one that other people witnessed, not just the grief that has an accepted name. The quiet losses too. The role you used to play that no one needs anymore. The future you had planned alongside someone who is no longer here. The ordinary Tuesday mornings that will never come back. Those losses are real, and they are worth grieving. Suppressing grief does not make it smaller. It makes it louder, eventually. It surfaces in the body, in sleep, in a sudden collapse over something small, a song on the radio, a smell in a grocery store, an ordinary object in the back of a drawer that belonged to someone who is no longer here. The grief that is pushed down is not gone. It is just waiting. So, one thing. Find something, one object, one photograph, one memory that belongs to a loss you have not fully allowed yourself to feel. Hold it, or look at it, or just bring it clearly to mind. And give yourself 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, to feel what is actually there. Not to solve it, not to find meaning in it, not to be okay with it. Just to acknowledge that it happened, that it mattered, that you are still carrying it, and that carrying it does not make you weak. It makes you someone who loved something enough to miss it. There is a grief therapist named J. William Worden who spent decades studying how people move through loss. He found that grief is not something that happens to you and eventually stops. It is something you do. You accept the reality of the loss. You work through the pain. You adjust to a world that is permanently changed. And then, when you are ready and not a moment before, you find a way to carry the person or the thing you lost with you into whatever comes next. Not to forget them, not to leave them behind, but to bring them forward into the new mornings, the quieter routines, the smaller but still present joys. That is what grief asks of us eventually. Not to be over it, but to still be here with it and keep going anyway. Thank you for being here. Grief is not something most people want to sit with. The fact that you stayed, that means something. If there is a name you have been carrying quietly, something that never had a funeral, never had a card, never had anyone asking how you were doing, you are welcome to leave it here. You do not have to explain it. Just set it down if you are ready. This is a safe place to do that. Until next time, take good care of yourself. I mean that.